All right, just a couple announcements before we get started here. We're going to start with an opening statement from Coach Sampson, and then we're going to take questions for the student athletes. If you do have a question, please raise your hand. Someone will bring a microphone around, and you can please give your name and affiliation prior to asking your question. We'd appreciate it. With that, Coach Sampson, if you want to give an opening statement, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought getting into halftime was important because we had to kind of reacquaint ourselves with who we were defensively. Defensively, second half, I thought we were outstanding in just about every facet. Our ball screen coverages, side pick and roll, mid pick and roll, our shot contest, defensive rebounding. First half, I think we were kind of getting caught up in our own offense and just weren't playing defense the way that we're capable. But also, they made some tough shots, especially Ertl. He's got such a quick release. He really explodes into his shot. Can't say enough about Jamal Shed and the job he did on Jordan Walker. Our kids certainly heard enough about him, rightfully so, and most of it came from us telling him how good he was, because he is good. But I thought our defense was outstanding. And we prepared for Jamal to play to this point, and then we were going to have Kyler guard him, and Kyler was going to guard him, and then Jamal. Tajay. But, we just win at matchups. We've been pretty good at that this year. We tried to pick on Fabe's matchup when we could. We went to Tajay, went to Josh, kept Kyler and Jamal in pick and rolls. They pressed us, and I think one of the things that helped us against their press was we just played Memphis. Memphis plays very similar. They press into a 2-3. They press into a 1-3-1, different, and we just saw that. So I think the key for us is just attack. Watching a lot of teams in their league, they get the ball below the free throw line, bring it back out and run a play. What we did was we just tried to get the first good shot and pulled the trigger and just try to go get the ball off the offensive glass. But it's a good win. You want to win your first one. And the fact that it represented this team's 30th win, this team's 30-5. I don't know if I've ever had a team I'm as proud of as this bunch for everything that they've had to overcome. But also proud because of how they've grown, growth. Growth is important for a basketball team. You have to grow. But you have to grow together. And I'm fortunate that I have high character kids, big time high character kids. A discipline problem in our program is somebody's cell phone goes off on the film session. We had one last night, first time all year. Of course, it was a freshman, but just proud of this group. It's good we get to stay together for another game, and we'll see how that one goes.
All right, questions for the student athletes? Down here in the front.
Kyler, what was the guy going? That was the moment, the rims, and when did you know you had your shot going?
Well, I like to stay confident, so I always think my shot is going. So my teammates look for me a lot, and because they know I can shoot, so I credit to them and the team looking for me.
For either of the players, they got it down to 7 points there in the second half, but never really got closer, and you guys were able to fend them off and make little runs of your own. What was the key to that, just staying mentally strong and finishing it off?
Fabian, you want to take that first?
We have a lot of veterans, so we don't really get too high, too low. And we already know they're a good team, so they're going to get on a run eventually. So we just have to stay even keel and just defend like we've been doing.
Yeah, I can add on to what Fabian said. And, you know, we got a lot of veteran people, veteran guys on this group. So, you know, when we get tired, it's not like we just give up, you know, and lay down. I think we can push through that and push through adversity.
Joseph Duarte, Houston Chronicle. Kelvin, when your team, the potential it has to score, but when your team gets off to that type of start, especially from the three-point line, how does that sort of change the approach that you take, or does that allow you obviously to do some different things?
Well, I don't think it changes our approach as much as it changes their approach. That's why you can't define somebody by a statistic. You know, it's like, you know, we've got some guys that aren't very good free throw shooters. You saw two of them in action tonight, Roberts and Carlton. Now, if they shot all of our free throws all year, we may be the worst free throw shooting team in the history of the round ball, because those guys aren't very good free throw shooters. It's not like they're trying to miss. They're not. They try to make it. And just think about if Andre Drummond and Shaq was on the same team. Historically, that would be the worst free throw shooting team ever. Well, I'm not saying these guys are Shaq and Andre, but they're not great free throw shooters. Whereas if Ramon and Jamal and Kyler shot all our free throws, you'd say, well, you're a great free throw shooting team. A free throw shooting team is relevant to who's shooting the free throws. So, but the same thing goes with three-point shooting percentage. Kyler's a good shooter. I don't care what the numbers say. That's why he keeps shooting, because we want him to keep shooting, because we believe in him. Same thing with Fabian. You know, Fabian can make threes. Jamal's gotten better. Tajay's gotten better. And, you know, when you get to this stage of the season where, you know, you win, you advance, you don't, you go home, sometimes that triggers something inside a kid like Kyler. You know, he's a tough kid. You know, Fabian's played in 5 NCAA tournament games last year, including the Final Four. Kyler's played in 6 in 1 year, including the national championship game against Virginia. He had 10 in that game. So these guys aren't afraid of the moment. They're not intimidated by the stage we're on. And I think that helps guys like our freshmen. You know, J1 Roberts a freshman, Ramon Walker's a freshman, Jamal Shedd is a freshman. You know, those freshmen will follow these veteran guys, and they're good leaders. You know, Kyler has a quiet confidence about him. Fabian's got a swagger about him, and these kids don't fear a whole lot.
Over here, questions for the student athletes, please.
Brian Smith, Houston Chronicle. So it's Kelvin. You mentioned how
Student athlete questions, please,
for
for the student athletes. Then we'll get to coach.
okay. I will wait.
Okay. Any more questions for the student athletes? One right here.
Greg Bailey from ABC in Houston. A question for each of the players, if we could. What was maybe what you can share with us about the message defensively at halftime to kind of go back to your roots and what you do, and how can that help you getting back to those things as you look ahead quickly to the matchup against Illinois?
Kyler, you can start on that one.
You know, just keep our foot down, keep our foot on the gas, and you know, our scouting report details, and you know, just playing our brand of basketball. And I haven't really looked at Illinois yet, but we'll get a good look tonight.
When it comes to defense, I feel like when we're not defending well, it's more because we're not defensive rebounding. So just getting clean defensive rebounds and staying in front of our man, really, that was just the main key at halftime.
All right, last question for the student athletes back here.
Chancellor Johnson, KPRC2. Kyler, I lost track of how many oh my gods you had after you made those threes. When you have it going like that on this type of stage, how would you describe what that feeling is like? And for you, Fabian, how dangerous is this team when Kyler has it going?
I mean, it's always a great feeling because it's March. You know, it's only a certain amount of teams playing, so you know, moments are big. You know, emotions are high. So I mean, just making those type of plays, you know. And my teammates, you know, rallying behind me, you know, it just always feel good.
Kyler, Fabian, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, over here.
Cellvin, you mentioned how proud you were of this team's growth. When you think back to December and losing two of your key players, how proud of you that you guys were able to score 82 points in an NCAA tournament game and to have so much offensive versatility to where you can go inside, you can hit the three ball, you can respond and change in a game like this?
Yeah, I think it goes down to when your best players value winning over statistics, those are usually player-led teams. You know, all of our good teams, you know, I don't always remember the year, but I remember how many games they won. You know, the 27-win team, great player leadership. 33-win team, great player leadership. 28-win team, great player leadership. 30-win team this year, great player leadership. That was the key. We have great player leaders, which means they bought into your culture, how you do things. It's important to them. Winning's important to these kids. You know, and they practice that way. You know, the game on Memphis was Sunday. We had a 4-hour bus ride. We got back late Sunday night. We didn't practice Monday or Tuesday. We didn't do anything. Couldn't. You know, we played 3 games in 3 days. And I was very thankful that we got a Friday bracket. I could have cared less who's in it. I was just glad we played on Friday. You know, Thursday, if you're playing 3 games in 3 days, you play an early Thursday game. That had a lot to do with some of our early exit in the tournament. I remember being at Oklahoma, we won 3 consecutive Big 12 tournament championships. And some of those, we had to play a Thursday game early. That's tough for those kids. It really is. I know Iowa got bounced in the first round. Take nothing away from Richmond. 3 games in 3 days and then have to turn around and play on Thursday early. That's tough. I wish the NCAA would protect conference tournament champions and just not put those teams in position where they have to play early Thursday. And if they do have to play Thursday, how hard would it be to put them in the late game? You know, just to give them a better chance to succeed. Because you play all year to be at this moment, right? But for this team, all our teams, they buy in. You have to have something to buy into. They have to care. They have to care about the people that came before them. They have to stand on those shoulders. You know, I go back to Damian Dotson and Galen, Rob. I go on and on. I don't want to bore you guys with names you never heard of, but we've had some great kids that has a lot to do with the success of this program, and this team has just added to it. Just really proud of this group. You know, we have our weaknesses. We have things we're not real good at, but we're really good at trying hard. And that's important.
Last question for Coach back there, please.
Cellvin, how important an ingredient is toughness to winning this time of year?
Boy, that's a great question. I'm getting a cramp. I don't think you can manufacture toughness. I don't think you can. Sorry. I don't think you can manufacture toughness. I don't think you can all of a sudden become tough. It's got to be in your DNA, man. It's got to be who you have been. And like our team is tough. You know, like I said, we have weaknesses. We're not the prettiest team. We're not the best team, and that's okay. I just want our kids to be the best they can be. And you know, as long as the music's playing, our kids get to keep playing. You know, I feel lucky because I really do, you know, enjoy coaching this team. I mean, this is a really fun group to be around. You know, if we win, when we lose, whenever, if and when, you know, only one team's going to finish the year. I'll be sad we lose, but I'll be more sad that I don't get to coach this bunch.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thanks, guys.